videos where I find a mundane, boring task that I have to work on, and I just turn on the camera and I chat with you all. You guys seem to really love it, and you know what to do. Go ahead and grab whatever project you are working on, and you get to work as well, and we can chat together and yeah, just discuss life. Today my boring, mundane task is peeling and slicing apples. I'm making apple pie for this weekend. We're having a bunch of people over. We're borrowing my parents' soft ice cream machine, and nothing goes better with ice cream than some warm apple pie. So I have an amazing apple pie recipe I'm gonna share with you. So if you stick around to the end, I'll show you what it looks like and how I did it. But let's get started. I'm just gonna be peeling about 7 Granny Smith apples here. And I did not make any notes for today, and I do also apologize for the lack of excuse me one second, my husband's out chopping wood. I'm back. Tomorrow we're host family, and we also are hosting small group in the evening, so it's just gonna be a full day of guests and company. And I don't know if you can see behind me here, but our house is currently under construction. We just moved. There's pretty much nothing in this place that, you know, really reflects my personality or style or anything like that. And given the chance, I'm gonna consider just skipping it this round. But we had small groups anyway, and so I was like, nope, we're gonna do it. And that's kind of what brings me to the topic I kind of wanted to chat with you guys today about, which it's a big word, hospitality. And the people that do hospitality well, I admire so much. It's definitely one of my top 10 things that I want to improve on in my life. And I was just thinking about it, what makes a person hospitable? And yeah, I just like to chat about that a little bit today in light of the fact that we have, you know, a bunch of guests coming tomorrow. I don't know what percentage of you guys are homemakers, but if you have a home, then you probably have allowed people into it on occasion. And I actually really love, like, I'm an extrovert, I love being around people and stuff, and I do love hosting. I don't know, it's a lot of fun, but it's a lot of work ahead of time, although I like that sometimes. It's a good excuse to clean the house, you know, and then people will appreciate it. But yeah, it's just been a little bit of a challenge for me in this season of my life with just moving to a new place, renovations happening and things like that. And you know, I think I want to make a dedicated video about this sometime, just tips for being a better hostess. Trust me, they won't all be from experience. I'll also try to do some research for it. But until I get that video made, I thought it'd be just fun to like pick your brains a little bit and see what you guys think makes a good hostess and just what makes you feel welcome in someone's house. I think one of the biggest things for me is that when you can just tell that the person, you know, wanted you to be there, you can kind of just pick up on that right away. Like, are they doing it out of duty or do they actually want you to come? And another thing too is like when the hostess is busy all the time, like that's one thing I try to stay away from when I'm hosting, but like when the hostess is busy all the time and can't hang out or like talk to you, they're busy cooking or whatever, kind of like that Martha syndrome, if you know what I'm talking about in the Bible, where they're just too busy, you know, getting things done and they don't have time to chat or notice you or even like make you feel welcome. And one thing that I think helps me with that is I love to cook, I love to experiment and stuff like that, but I keep my meals super basic when I have people coming over. It's kind of nice when you're young, like people don't expect you to have like gourmet meals necessarily, like right after you're young married. But you know, even though I don't have that excuse anymore of being like a newlywed, I've been married for 6 years and I've been running a house for 6 years, I still like to keep my meals simple. And I mean, I'm capable of more sometimes, but I realize that if it's stuff that I have to be making last minute and running around and like counting on everything to get done right, guys, if something's gonna go wrong while you have people in your house, it probably is going to because you're distracted, you're talking to them, you're trying to do 101 things, you're a little flustered. So if you can get a menu together that's like super make ahead, which was what I'm doing right now, I'm making apple pies ahead of time. The soft ice cream machine is gonna like make itself. I also have like, I guess I'll tell you the rest of my menu. We're having hamburgers, which Josh is grilling right now, and we're gonna put them in a barbecue sauce and heat them up the day of, but they'll still have that grilled flavor because they were on the grill. And I'm doing baked beans in the crock pot. I'm also throwing some regular old Walmart frozen potatoes in the oven last minute, right when we get home. And then I'm just sprinkling them with the Red Robin seasoning. If you have never had Red Robin seasoning on your fries, I'm sorry, I feel bad for you, it's so good. Anyway, so that'll make them good without even having to do much work. I also bought a quart of macaroni salad at a local deli. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Apple pie, ice cream. I have a bunch of toppings for the ice cream. I feel like I'm forgetting, no, I'm not forgetting anything. That's seriously it, guys. That's what we're having. It's super basic, but another thing that I'm doing that is a big tip, okay, I'm ready to cut these apples now. I know there's faster ways of doing this, but I broke my apple slicer and I've learned to just like using a knife. It does not have to be complicated. You don't have to like keep up with the Joneses or prove anything, because that's not what's gonna make people feel comfortable and welcome in your home anyway. So that's definitely one thing that I have learned. I feel welcome when people have time for me, and so I try to have time for my guests as well. It doesn't mean I'm always doing a great job at it, but it's something I'm like developing, if that makes any sense. And yeah, we could go into all kinds of tips about how to have a welcoming home and making it smell nice and just feeling cozy and all that. And right now I can't really rely on like beautiful ambiance and stuff when people come, because you know the house is what it is right now and that's just how it is. And I'm told myself I'm not going to apologize for it when they come over. They can see it's in construction. This is just a season. There is something else I wanted to talk about with the aspect of hospitality. Hospitality is not just about homemaking. I feel like it's actually like a personal like character trait. Like, are you a hospitable person? I was recently talking to someone who did not make me feel welcome at all. I mean, they weren't saying anything rude or mean, but like, you know, they'd ask your opinion about something and then you would share your perspective or whatever, and you could just see their wheels turning and like their brain judging you. Does that make sense? I don't know. Maybe I'm just like super hyper aware. I don't know. But this was definitely happening. You could tell. They're just going to go home and tell their husband, oh my word, can you believe it? You know, judging, but not coming out and saying it. And I just didn't feel welcome at all. I didn't feel like, oops, I went in the wrong place. I did not feel like they were hospitable at all. Just with like their judgy attitude. And I'm like, okay, you usually pick out in other people what you yourself are doing? I don't know. So I'm like, am I ever like that? Where I like, wow, if you do it that way, you know, I'm so much of a better mom because I don't do it that way. Or, wow, that's just not a struggle for me, guys. You know, I'm just pretty much perfect in that aspect. Anyway, if you know what I'm saying, like, I never want to have that attitude. And I can't really think of a time where I felt that way, but this person talking to them, I was definitely feeling those vibes coming back. I don't know, they just thought the way they did things was right, but they weren't going to tell me. And I think, like, it's nice to be nice, right? It's always nice to be nice. But at the same time, if you're just having a discussion and being friendly and stuff, you can share what you do that's different than the next person. I thought if I'm cooking then I can't talk with my hands, but clearly I'm still talking with my hands. Anyway, sorry, I'm getting fired up here. But yeah, I think it's totally fine to like express like differences or how you do it differently in a nice way. You can still be a hospitable person, an accepting person, but still share your opinions. One time that comes to mind is a bunch of us ladies were sitting watching our husbands play ball, and we were talking about sleep schedules and babies and sleep training and just like how to get babies on a schedule or not get them on a schedule, like what do you want to do. It was great. There was a new mom there that just had a baby, and a bunch of us moms that have been moms for a little bit longer were saying about, you know, I was saying how I love us having a schedule and like the kids go down for their naps, that's my work time. I know what to expect. They eat every 3 hours and then they sleep 12 hours at night. I just love it. I know what to expect. You know, and then the next mom beside me was saying how, nope, she doesn't like a schedule because then it messes with her day. She likes to be more flexible and everything. And this new mom said, I just asked her, I was like, well, what do you, I was like, look, every mom is different. It's completely your preference and how you roll and your baby rolls and all that, how you are. And I was like, so what do you think? It was so great. She's like, well, I could not handle a schedule. I personally don't like that. She's like, she feels that moms that are on a schedule, then they're just like unflexible and whatever. Anyway, and it came across completely still welcoming and hospitable. It wasn't like, well, you put your kids on a schedule, so therefore I don't like you or we can't be friends or whatever. I just think it came across in a good way. And it wasn't a judgy way at all. It was really an encouragement and a good conversation. You know, we can all have differences, but we can still welcome those differences and realize that that's what makes the world go round. The same things don't work for every single person, and that's what's so beautiful. And that's another thing about the community here on YouTube. It's so fun to look and see how other moms do things. You know, you get ideas, or maybe you see something and you're like, that's definitely not gonna work for me, you know. So differences don't have to be bad. We don't have to like always do the same exact things to, you know, make somebody feel welcome or whatever. I'm not even sure. I hope this video is worth your time. I feel like I'm just blabbering on, but it's kind of fun to like feel like you have somebody else to work with while you are, yeah, hopefully you're getting something done over there. And if you're just sitting and watching, that's completely fine too. Comment down below what you're doing. I'd love to know. And also comment down below if you like schedules. I just am curious to know, because I love routines and like flexible schedules, if that makes any sense. I just, yeah, that's kind of how I roll. And I think we all have stories of like hospitality in our lives where we've experienced it. And I don't think, like, of course, everybody says that, you know, it's not about how the place looks or anything like that. It's just about, like, the hostess's personality and making you feel welcome and just having time for you and putting their feet up and chatting with you and having good conversation. And that is totally true, but it's not a bad thing to have a nice home if you can. I mean, within reason. Obviously, you know, there's starving children in the world and stuff. It's so sad. But, like, if you can make your house inviting and warm, there's nothing wrong with that. My goal is to someday have my house feel inviting and welcoming and warm and not like a construction zone. But I can just think of a family who, I'm sure they have plenty of money. Their house is gorgeous. You know, sometimes people, when they have a lot of money and they make their house like super nice, you feel like you should sit here, you shouldn't sit there, or like be careful, and you just like watch your children running around, what are they touching? You know, this family was not like that at all. Like they had nice things, but they had kids too, and you knew that, you know, most things were kid-proof, even though it looked nice. And their house was so nice, but the hostess like had prepared ahead of time. I can tell she hosts a lot. And so it was comfortable for her, and she was used to it, and that just came across too. Another way to feel less stressed out as a hostess is give your husband something to do. He's in charge of the main course, the burgers, so I don't even have to deal with it. And if you do not have the gift of gab, that can make being a hostess seem really intimidating. But just remember, it's like I try to tell my teenage sister, like, the whole world isn't focused on you. Like, you can mess up and it's not gonna be the end of the world. Nobody's gonna care. And just invite people strategically. Like, make sure you invite somebody that does have a good gift for talking to people, or invite at least 2 people that know each other. And there's also different kinds of hosting. Like, you can have like a big group of lots of random people. I would have so much joy. Like, that would give me so much life to see that happening at my house. But then maybe for you, you'd much rather have just like, you know, 2 couples over, and the men and the ladies all sit together and you like have a deep conversation, and that just feels like soul-filling to you. And I mean, there's a place for that as well. I could enjoy that a lot too. But yeah, just hosting can look so many different ways, but I encourage you, if it really scares you, start small, try something, and I don't know, I think you will definitely not regret it. You will feel like you've gained more than you've given, hopefully. I have my apples chopped here, as you can see, and now I'm gonna add the brown sugar and the cinnamon and the sugar and stuff to it, and then we're gonna put them in the pies, and then I have to make a crumb crust for the top. So I'll see you in just a second when I'm ready to put the pies together. Okay, now I'm just making the crumb mixture, which happens to be just 2 sticks of butter and a bunch of flour and brown sugar. And this is definitely the best part of an apple pie, if you ask me. Also, another important thing is to make sure you get Granny Smith apples. They're just nice and sour, and they're nice and hard too, so they're not gonna get all mushy inside your pie. Yeah, Granny Smith apples are definitely the way to go. Also, I have a little trick that I like to do for my pie crust. Guys, pie crust intimidates so many people, and yeah, you could buy your own, but I'm here to tell you, I'm not the world's best baker, and I've been making pie crust since I was like 18, 20. And it's really not that hard. The recipe I have, I will put down below for you guys. I just dump it all together. It's that easy. You don't have to do anything with ice cubes or ice water or anything like that, and it gets right every time. But a little trick that I like to do to like make pie crust less messy is to divide your dough into 2 balls and then use wax paper on the top and the bottom, and then your rolling pin to roll it out. That way you don't have any mess, and it's really, really easy to transfer to the pie dishes then. Also, I always prick my pie crust with a fork. I think that's just so that, you know, that's any air bubbles release as it's baking. Correct me down below if there's another reason you do it. My recipe calls for softened butter, but I think this might be a little too soft. I put it in the microwave to speed it up a little bit. And maybe that's why I'm not getting a super crumbly mixture, but it'll get there. So while I'm doing this, go ahead and let me know any other topics you'd love to have me discuss in a multitask with me coming up in the future. One topic that I'm kind of considering throwing around talking about is like just femininity and what it looks like to be feminine and why. I get a lot of questions like, why do you choose to wear skirts? I know it's not the only way to be modest. But yeah, just that kind of a topic. And it can be a little bit controversial in today's world. So I'm not even sure if I want to go there. But yeah, also another topic that I'd like to talk about sometime maybe is the proper view of self-care and the balance. You know, being a mom, how much time you take for yourself or not take for yourself, that kind of thing. So yeah, if there's anything that's been on your mind lately and you'd love to discuss it, let me know, and maybe I can make a future multitask with me. Okay, I'm ready to put the pies together now, I think. So here is our apple mixture with the brown sugar on and all that. And then, no need to wash your hands because it's just more cinnamon and stuff. And then you take your butter crummy mixture and you just crumble it across the top. If you ask me, apple pie is not an apple pie if it does not have a crummy crust on top. And this will just get crispy and buttery and oh, just so amazing. This pie not only looks good, but it tastes amazing as well. And I have perfected this over the years. I'm sure I'll continue to perfect it, you know, in the future, but there's a lot of things I can't make, but I can make apple pie and I really love it. So I encourage you to try it. If you're looking for a nice fall or winter baked item, And I'm just so excited about eating this with soft ice cream on the side. So yeah, I think that would be super fun. Actually, that's another little hostess tip that you could do. If you have anything interesting, like that makes what you have at your place unique. Maybe you have a really fun playground or like a nice big driveway that the kids can ride bikes on, or maybe you have a smoker, bake some smoked meats. Not everybody can have smoked meats at their place, you know? And so I guess for us, what we're doing is using the soft ice cream machine. The other week we had everybody over and did chicken barbecue. That's a lot of work, but it's all work you can do ahead of time. And so it's special because people don't get that every day, but it's also nothing that has to stress you out because you can get it pretty much all done before the guests even arrive. If you'd like to see how that went, you can go ahead and watch this last video that I put up on Monday. You guys seem to really like the vlog style of the videos that I made, so go ahead and check that one out. Anyway, I think this pie is about done, so I'm going to go wash my hands and put the rest of my outfit on. I have a little vest thing somewhere, and take a thumbnail picture. And then I will go ahead and get these in the oven. And tonight we are headed off to a barn party / hayride possibly. I don't know, we'll see. So I'm really excited for that. I will put the recipe for this down in the description box. Make sure you make it and let me know how it turns out. Also, if you have not subscribed yet, some of you keep returning week after week and I'm so grateful for it. You click on my videos, you watch them, that helps me out a ton. But now take it a step further and subscribe. It doesn't really affect you too much, except that it will push your video onto your home screen and you'll get notified when I have a new video up. So consider subscribing and I'll see you all in my next video.
I will admit I never knew that's how you do that.
What do you mean?
You have to do that by hand?
Well, how do you think it gets done?
I don't know, there's gotta be a tool for that.
A tool?
Yeah, it's gotta be something.
Does it look okay?
It looks awesome.